Hi, I'm Robert. Welcome to my channel. This is a reading of my latest book, My Nineveh, The Cross Between Psychedelics and the Church. It is available on Amazon. If you'd like to support my work, please like and subscribe, and consider purchasing a copy from the link in the description below. Chapter 10, The Role of Memory. One of the most interesting aspects of a psychedelic journey is how it presents itself to the person experiencing it. It really does present itself as a memory. Despite alien landscapes from our human perspective, or feelings of unity, oneness, and non duality, and even beyond the fact that this could be a person's first experience with one of these substances, they are completely familiar and remembered. It is as though you suddenly gained access to a whole host of memories. The entire experience is very, very familiar. It presents itself as going home, as though life had been a journey through the unknown, and now you are returning to a place you had forgotten you left. Memory is also that which separates one individual from another. I am Robert because I have the memory of doing things as Robert, like writing this book. However, if you also remembered writing this book, if I could somehow share my first person perspective of the process with you, and your mind could join with mine and remember it in the same way that I do, then in a very real sense, you also wrote this book. The difficulty for you in that situation would be having the memory of writing the book, but no continuity in how you got to the various coffee shops and other locations where the writing took place. From your perspective, that would be very confusing, indeed, almost a form of psychosis. The inverse of memory is amnesia, or forgetting. What we consider the self is actually the interplay of these two concepts, or in reality, the two sides of exactly the same process. Memory is that which joins and connects. Amnesia separates, alienates, and blocks. We all know people who have dementia or an age-induced memory loss. As dementia progresses, the memory of the life lived disappears into a fog of forgetting. Usually it begins with recent memories, like where did I put my car keys, or what did I eat for breakfast, or what was I doing yesterday? Over time, this can progress to years forgotten. From the perspective of the person with dementia, they did not live the life that the rest of us say they did. Some things remain, emotionally charged situations, or especially good or bad memories, but as dementia progresses, even those things can be forgotten. The condition known as dissociative identity disorder, or DID for short, involves amnesia as well, this time to separate and hide traumatic memories. DID usually manifests as a result of childhood trauma. Extreme physical or sexual abuse or experience of war are the most common triggers for this disorder. What happens during the trauma is that the main personality who inhabits the body retreats inwards. They develop a barrier of amnesia that prevents memory of whatever situation is occurring. This barrier is part of an elaborate coping mechanism to escape a situation that is inescapable. These suppressed memories don't disappear. Instead, they are cut off from the main personality and can result in the creation of an alter, or a separate personality structure with its own separate sense of being, separate memories, and separate idea of a self. This can include, but is not limited to, a separate internal sense of body, gender, species, name, preferences, and even biological markers. For example, it is possible to have an alter that is blind, and when fronting or controlling the body, the areas of the brain associated with sight will not light up in an EEG scan. These alters can be completely different from the main person. The internal experience of these alters is that they have different bodies in the imagined space of consciousness, different preferences, different sexual orientations, and potentially even different species or internal forms. DID can often go undiagnosed for long periods of time, as the main personality can be unaware of the existence of any others. It may present as periods of unconsciousness, and the alters are often very good at impersonating the host or primary personality that normally controls the body. Along with having an internal form or appearance in the imaginal, Some personalities can create whole internal worlds for the alters to share. From the perspective of understanding consciousness, the creation of a disassociated identity necessarily involves amnesia. It is this amnesia that creates the separation of self into two or more selves. The opposite of this process also exists. It is called integration. In the case of DID, integration occurs on a spectrum. Two or more alters can agree to break down that amnesia barrier and share memories and other aspects of the identity of self. Sometimes there can be a complete merger where the sense of self gives up its own independent existence and identity to merge with other alters. This can happen as a merger into another pre-existing alter or the creation of a brand new alter which contains the memories and emotions of two or more alters who now no longer exist as separate entities. For those with DID, the process of integration cannot happen out of rejection of the trauma and memories held by the other alters. In fact, the opposite must happen: acceptance and love of those disassociated parts. For some, this is enough, and full integration is neither desired or seen as necessary. Many people lead full and happy lives with disassociated parts of their personality, and that's okay. My purpose in all this is not to comment on people with a sense of self outside what we consider normal. Again, what is normal? But rather to point to this process as a template for the rest of reality. That which is one can be defined as that which shares memory, and that which is two can be defined as that which has amnesia, preventing the sharing of memory. The ability for the mind to forget is a fundamental part of reality, and it is a protective and renewing mechanism, playing a vital role in the continuing unfolding of reality.